Alrighty, Amy, it's been great chatting with you. I appreciate your patience with me this afternoon. I would love to get started with our virtual interview and discuss your professional experience. So I can go ahead and start this. I have your resume pulled up here, so I'll kind of highlight your previous roles in the industry. So you've worked in logistics for the last 4 or so years as the account manager for Circle Logistics and the account executive for R&L Global Logistics. With that, Amy, I would love for you to touch base as far as your professional experience a bit, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, sounds great. So starting in Circle Logistics, I was fresh out of college actually, during COVID time, so it was kind of crazy. So I actually started in track and trace, calling drivers, talking to dispatchers, trying to get updates on ETAs, if any escalations, anyone running late or anything like that, confirmations, pickup, deliveries, PODs, all that fun stuff. And then I actually moved to customer operations within about a month. So basically scheduling, customer facing, managing escalations, and the billing aspect of everything. So I kind of went and learned all those skills during that, and then from that I was promoted within the next 2 months to account management, where I started to really build my book of business. I wasn't necessarily on the sales side, but I was inheriting larger accounts. I worked with a large volume of freight, so it was complete ownership of my book of business. Farming, customer relationships, being able to develop those, where my customers could come to me and trust me, any time of the day, any day of the week, So, and then I actually took a dead account from them, and within a year, I turned it around. I was a top 3 preferred carrier. So that's something that I'm very proud of. And I definitely spent a lot of time doing that. And then I left Circle due to some personal growth, and I wanted to expand my skill set. So I went over to R&L Global. I wanted to see, where I wanted to take my career. I livened some dead customer accounts, managing relationships. I've taken a few accounts and I've created them up to 50, 70 loads a month. It's basically mostly the same thing, except now I'm prospecting and, on the sales side and, things like that. Operations, customer service, customer facing. And yeah.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate those details that you provided me, Amy. You really gave me a more clear insight as far as your professional experience at those both logistics companies. Have you ever worked with any 3PLs or any third-party logistics providers, or are you currently at?
R&L is a 3PL. It's a 4PL actually.
Oh, okay, wonderful. And so how do you manage your day-to-day? I can only assume that you're super busy, you have to be able to multitask. So how do you manage your day or keep yourself organized?
I am a very organized person. I love to-do lists, and the satisfaction it brings from, crossing something off. But I put out blocks of my day for certain activities. Obviously escalations, and, we'll take priority. If the problem needs solved right now, I'll go ahead and take care of that. But when it comes to prospecting, I'll have certain blocks of the day set aside for it. And then I always make sure that enough time is allocated throughout the day to handle my responsibilities, including pricing, back end things, including billing, clean up, all that stuff.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate that. Now, I'm sure that you use a few systems. Can you kind of let me know your familiarity or what systems that you've utilized in the past or currently?
Yeah, main one that I've used is Oracle. It's my biggest account. I go through there for everything, tendering and then load updating and everything like that. I've used Navisphere, Uber Freight I've used. There's a few other ones.
Yeah, no
There's
worries.
so many.
I think there are a lot of systems.
Currently I'm using McLeod, Pipedrive, and I've used Transportation Pro, and the list goes on, but
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you're familiar with sending out email communications as well.
Absolutely. And if it's an emergent problem, I'm not afraid to pick up the phone and call someone and try and solve it there. I prefer doing that, and it's solved within 30 seconds versus back and forth email. I don't know what you mean, you know?
Yeah. And I love to hear that, especially nowadays, everyone's kind of just behind the keyboard. No, you got to pick up the phone sometimes, especially when there's a crisis and just
Exactly.
dial in. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I appreciate that. Tell me, Amy, what skills do you have that makes you stand out compared to other candidates?
I would say I'm highly adaptable. You put me in really any position, I'm going to thrive in it. I don't like to fail. So it's very important for me to be able to do whatever it takes to become successful. I have a key attention to detail. I believe in operational efficiencies. I will do it correctly the first time so I don't have to come back and redo it. I feel like it's a waste of time. I thrive in a fast-paced environment. I get the most done once if I'm busy, just constantly go, go, go. I'm organized. I like to make lists. I like to, block out hours on my calendar. And I have high experience in customer service and customer satisfaction. I have when I left Circle, I had multiple customer meetings, like explaining my leaving and everything, and they were all heartbroken that I
Yeah.
was leaving. They've very much enjoyed working with me, and they were not quiet about it, and I very much appreciated that. Yeah, and I'm really good with multitasking. I try to, you know, again, focus on the most at hand dire situation and then move back to whatever I was working on, the back end, or something that could be just placed on a brief hold to move on to
Yeah,
um, and
absolutely.
and one big thing for me is I try to stay as positive as possible um, at all times. I thrive in positivity. I don't do well in negativity, and that's a big thing for me, but
Yeah, which says a lot, right, about the company that you're looking to step foot in is a culture.
Mhm.
Culture is a lot. Culture is number one thing for me, nonetheless. I think for others as well. So it's good that you mentioned, you highlighted. You want to be in an environment to where you're not being bogged down by certain things,
Mhm.
in lack of terms, right? So
Absolutely.
it's great that you were able to mention that, as well as your relationships that you built with your clientele and how you've had that meeting, or your farewell meeting with them, and how they were a little upset to see you go. It just really shows that you were able to establish a relationship with your clientele.
Mhm.
And that speaks volumes about your customer service in itself, as you mentioned as well. Amy, when are you looking to start a new role?
I would just need to do 2 weeks.
2 week notice. And
Mhm.
now, if my client came back and mentioned that they were like for you to start sooner, is there any availability with that?
Yes, I'm definitely open to it.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Amy, it has been lovely chatting with you once again. I thank you very much for your details as far as your professional experience. I'm going to stop the recording. Don't hang up on me quite yet. I want to continue chatting with you. I thank you for
Okay.
your time.